Today's episode is sponsored by Dynasty Athletic Performance and NC Football Connections. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All Season 365 podcast. Be sure to follow us on X, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and Spotify channels. Our ultimate goal here is to connect with as many coaches as possible, not just here in North Carolina, but across the country. Today, we have a special guest. We have Coach John Davidyock, special teams coordinator, linebacker coach, and assistant strength and conditioning coach at Ballantyne Ridge HS in Charlotte, North Carolina. Coach, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, Coach. Well, thank you for agreeing to hop on. We truly appreciate it. So before we get to today's topic, today we're going to be talking about special teams play and strength and conditioning. But before we get to that, give our listeners a quick snapshot of your journey up until this point.
Yeah. So May 5th, 2022, I decided to move down here from Toms River, New Jersey. My brother, Joe Davidyock, who's the head coach at RJ Reynolds, and my mentor growing up who coached me in high school, Damien Corio, they were both at Mallard Creek High School.
Nice.
I decided I wanted to get into coaching and kind of just get out of Jersey, get out of home, and just kind of start fresh somewhere. So I came down to Mallard Creek. Coach Tinsley was graceful enough to give me an opportunity to start there. I started as an equipment manager, assistant wide receiver coach to Coach Green,
Nice.
who's at Providence Day still, probably the best receiver coach in the state. Learned a lot from him. And I also took kind of a DFO title in the sense of keeping us on schedule.
Nice.
But equipment, helping out receivers anywhere that we needed help, I did. I even had a truck at the time. So I was like using my truck to haul our trailer of all of our equipment.
There you go.
Anything I could do to help out was what I was doing. Then the second year, my brother had left. Coach Corio had left. Coach Clay, who was our tight ends coach, he left. We had a couple guys leave on the other jobs. So Coach Tinsley, in my exit interview at the end of the year, he was like, when you do a really good job, you get more responsibilities, and then hoping you do great in those responsibilities. So he moved me to coach tight ends
Nice.
with all the same roles, just now coaching tight ends at the time. So my first position group on my own, Isaiah Graham was my starter. He was a senior that year. He was second team all conference for the Queen City Conference. That was when we still had Huff, Chambers, and all that. That powerhouse conference, to have him second team all conference, it was very nice to have. I live in Ballantyne, so after 2 years of commuting over an hour every day, I was like, "It's got to be something
closer."
Because my wife, we were at the time about to have a baby, so I was like, "I got to have something closer. Can't be taking an hour and a half drive home after a 6 o'clock practice, with Coach Tinsley." So my brother got me in contact with Chris Redding, who became the head coach at Ballantyne Ridge our first year, where I came on to take what would have been a JV head coach position as well as tight end coach. We didn't have a JV team our first year, so I took more of a DFO role that year as well, doing all of our Dragonfly stuff, making sure people are checking in, doing our weigh-ins and weigh-outs.
There you go.
And then year 2, a couple more people leave, couple changes. So I moved to special teams coordinator, associate head coach, moved to linebackers, and then now going into year 3 at Ballantyne, second year under Tyson Fernandez, still special teams coordinator, still one of our associate head coaches, and I'm actually now recently moving to running backs, taking on that role now. Just kind of being a chameleon, just anywhere I can help out, I'll help where I can. But that's just kind of where a snapshot of my career. And obviously been assistant strength coach at both places under William Fly at Mallard Creek and now Andre Noel at Ballantyne.
The Swiss Army knife, man. And for any coaches that's listening, Coach just gave you the perfect scenario to climbing the coaching ladder. If a coach can trust you with a little, they can trust you with a lot. So I'm here to tell you the opportunity is there. You just have to be a sponge, be a sponge, do the work, and before you know it, man, your plate is gonna be full, man. So congratulations on that journey, Coach.
Thank you.
So let's get to special teams play. That's always a very popular topic on this show because for some coaches, there's not a lot of special team stuff out there. But I know for a fact that without special teams plans, without good special teams play, like 1/3 of the game, you're gonna lose a lot of games. That's just what it is. So anytime we get a chance to get a special team coach up here to talk a little ball, man, we love it. So
absolutely.
But as you know, in high school, time is not always on your side. Okay,
never.
The head coach saying, "Hey, this time is allotted for special teams, and there's a lot of teams you got to get through." So my question is, how do you prioritize which special team units to invest the most practice time in, and why?
So how we do it is each day during the season. So when we're in the grind of the season, every day we're committing to one of the units. So Monday maybe kickoff return.
Yeah.
But I only get I'll get 15 minutes meeting time to go over Friday, the mistakes we made. This is what the next opponent does. This is what we're going to improve on. And then when we get to practice, I'll get some pre-practice time, make sure my kickers are kicking well, that 10-minute period. But then the actual special teams period, I get roughly 10, 15 minutes, and I got to do kickoff and kickoff return. And then Tuesday will be punt return. Wednesday's PAT and PAT block. Thursday is, our walkthrough. We go over everything. This year, I talked to Coach Fernandez after some of our Glazier clinics this week that passed by, and I think we're going to change it this year. We're going to focus more on drills. So I have a special teams drill bank spreadsheet.
Nice.
Of all my drills for each phase. I even have it so that way my coaches understand what I want. It gives an explanation, the purpose of it, the equipment needed, the coaching points. It's got everything laid out for them because the common issue I have is having coaches as invested in special teams as me. So what I've also learned is trying to not have them always adjust to my terminology, have me adjust to their terminology. So that way they can coach it. So a great example that actually the special teams coordinator this past weekend talked about, he's like, he uses offhand jam technique for kickoff return for the front line. He's like, so I have my corners coach teach it. And I was like, you know what? That's such a small detail, but it goes such a long way. Have your assistant coaches that are helping you coach things they're already coaching. And that's just one thing that, I'm still working on as a coach because this past year was my first year ever being a coordinator at any level. I just got straight to varsity because our varsity special teams coordinator left. And I'm very thankful for the opportunity.
Yeah.
We have a lot of growth we need. Some days we're better than others. Obviously, like when we played my brother's team this year, I came into Sunday meeting and I was like, hey, thanks for letting me still have a job because that was awful. We gave up a kickoff return for a touchdown opening kickoff.
So. That's deflating right there.
Oh, yeah. Against, your twin brother, too, and you always beat him on Madden growing up, and then you get to the real football, and then it's not going the same way. But, yeah, we're going to
family meetings and everything.
Oh, yeah. But this year we're really going to emphasize drill work and doing what we call county fair, just circuits. They're going station to station and getting more reps because realistically, when we do team for our special teams, how many good reps are we getting? Especially for us this year, like when JV kickoff is kicking to varsity kickoff return, there were 3 times in a row the JV kicker kicks out of bounds, and that's just time wasted. I don't get, I'm not the head coach where I could be like, all right, we're going to spend 30 minutes here. I get 10 minutes. So we're going to focus on drill work, getting the technique down because the technique's the biggest thing. If you could just do the technique I need you to do, and then come Thursday, we'll put it all together in a kind of that walkthrough phase. We're going to see how that works for us this year because we're very young. We just don't have a lot of guys. Now we can't really say that being year 3. But we've been very young. We have a lot of guys that didn't play football till they got to us or they were backups at their previous schools since we're a relief school for South Mech, AK, supposed to be Myers Park too. So we had a lot of different guys coming in, different levels of experience. We're not like Huff and getting all these 5-star guys transferring, and they're doing a great job. And, hopefully we could be like them one day. That's always the goal. You want to be like those programs that have guys that want to be there, that guys that want to be part of that success. And, year 2 as a special teams coordinator, that's what I'm really hoping for. I'll track numbers year over year, seeing where we improve. Some units we did really well. PAT field goal with a first-year kicker, we were with him, we were 16 for 20. On the year, 16 for 22. We had a couple kickers in the beginning of the year that they were needed in other roles more. A kicker that didn't make the soccer team came on, so I was like, that's helpful.
There you go. Oh yeah.
So him to go 16 for 20. He even had a double as a punter. Grant, I don't need him to punt this year. I got a punter. But he had 4 punts inside the 20, so that was helpful at times. We were trying to adjust, it seemed like every week, to what our players could do. He was a soccer player. All right, he can't regular style punt. Let's try rugby.
There you go.
He had a little bit of success there. It was very inconsistent, but we had success. And just trying to put our players in best situation possible. And that's always a learning experience too, learning curve. And, year 2, I'm hoping for better success with that. But I'm very thankful for this opportunity to be a special teams coordinator. It's my wife's favorite phase. Growing up, she wasn't a big football fan. And I remember she really early in our relationship, she came to Buford when I was at Mallard Creek. We went to Buford, and they were beating us real bad. And we were punting for probably the 8th time. And someone in the stands goes, "All right, special teams, let's do something special." She has run away with that since. So the day I told her I was special teams coordinator, she was over the moon.
I love it.
My biggest supporter of being a special teams coordinator because of that.
Well, yeah. And it sounds to me like you got a good one, man. And I will say this, because I served as a special teams coordinator. And like you, there was a lot of growing pains. But what really helped me out was having that depth chart, right? Having a physical depth chart on the field, because all it takes is one player going down and 3 of your special teams are have a hole in it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So having a backup for the backup, that's very important. But like you said, having drill work ready to roll so that the kids are constantly moving. Because with special teams, in order to get the most out of it, you have to practice covering the whole field. And sometimes time is running, a shank kick, and that's cutting into your time. But as long as you have that drill work ready, those kids are developing those skills. So when you put it all together, more often than not, it's going to take care of itself. So you brought some good points there. But let's talk about the evaluation piece, because as you know, not everybody want to play special teams. But as a special teams coordinator, you got to get everybody excited to play special teams. So how do you evaluate and select personnel for each special team unit, especially balancing starters versus role players?
So in terms of choosing players, the biggest thing for us this year, year 1, we had a good amount of injuries, a lot of cramping. Year 2, and this is where the strength coach comes into play. I talk with our strength coach, I talk with our athletic trainer, and we even talked to the head coach how to keep our guys healthy. So we didn't use a lot of starters. We relied on a lot of the young guys. We were trying to use all the players that won't expose us, but each position I'm looking for a specific type. So if I know somebody that's fearless, a kid that I know is young, wants to get on the field and wants to make a tackle, he's out there. Now we had a freshman this year who we called him the Energizer Bunny because he was just always going. And, we always let kids know, you're not giving effort, but I got this guy who just got here 3 days ago. I already know he's going to be my starting kickoff team. And he started kickoff all year. He went down there. Now, he had not a clue what he was doing. He didn't know nothing about football. He didn't even know he could down the ball on punt team. He didn't know he could touch it. And same kid, he's literally crawling over the ball to down it. Every time an official was like that, I've never seen that in my life. And I was like, neither have I. And he did it on his own. But I'm always looking for, I always try to tell my guys, every play you're being evaluated. And on special teams, they need to understand every play is either change of field position, a scoring opportunity, or a momentum changer. And
there you go.
if you want to make an impact in the game, special teams is the way to do it, because
that's the way to do it.
Every play is one of those three situations.
There you go.
It's not a go through the motions like, all right, we're kicking off. Like, we have an opportunity to go hit somebody in the mouth and take the breath out of their sideline. Or we could take a good kickoff return, take it to midfield, and now our offense, because I gave them the numbers, you have over a 60% chance to score if you cross midfield.
Yes, you do.
We're setting our team up for success. So if you want to be part of that, you have to buy into that model of, I want to be a game changer, which is what I tried calling our special teams unit. You want to be a game changer, be on special teams, put the effort in. And I always reward people, guys who are doing a good job, guys we want to give an opportunity to. They've been putting in work. We'll give those guys a chance. Now, we're not going to put them in like a spot that's like a very important role, like say a L or R5 on kickoff. I might put them, on the outside where, say they have to keep contained. I could trust them to keep contained. I just can't. I don't know if I can trust them down there to, hit somebody in the mouth, but they'll do the job. So I'm always looking for a specific job of each person. And if they show me that they can do it, and I trust them, whether that's in the classroom, in the weight room, on the field, if you do those things, well, maybe I'll give you an opportunity on Friday nights to show me. And if I make a mistake that, I made a mistake, I'd rather make a mistake giving a good kid a chance.
Yeah, there you go.
And make the mistake giving the wrong kid a chance.
Yeah.
There's plenty of times there's plenty of times coaches will be like, why was this kid out there? And I'll be like, well, you know what? He does everything right, but he made one mistake. I'll die on that because he's a good kid. He does a lot of things right. He just didn't make the play, when the moment came. We don't always make the play. Someone's going to win every opportunity, every situation.
Well, you also brought up a good point, and through my experience, what I learned is if you're going to put your dudes on any teams, put them on those cover teams.
Yeah,
like put them on those kickoff teams. You even have them as gunners on the punt team, right? But those cover teams, you got to have your dudes on those. But if you're gonna go cheaper, right? You can sprinkle kids on throughout the return teams, but at the same time, you can't just have guys up there whiffing and missing on blocks. Because your return guys are going to get frustrated because they can't find a crease. So it's really about peppering in based off of the talent, but you hit it right on the head. It's all about effort. And if you have the effort, as a coach, it sounds to me like you could teach all the other stuff. But what's non-negotiable is that effort piece and doing the right thing.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, effort. I mean, like you said, I can't teach you effort. I can't teach you how to be a dog. I can't teach you, how to run down the field like you ain't got a care in the world, like you don't care about your own body. I can't teach that. Yeah. I could teach you how to keep the ball to your inside shoulder. I could teach you how to keep your outside arm free. I could teach you how to put, grab the legs, drive through the hips, if you want to do Seahawk roll tackle or you want to do chest on chest, depending. I mean, obviously like the shorter guys, I prefer the hip tackle than the chest on chest. They'll get run over most times. But though that's my biggest thing is effort. And when I look at the film and I see guys that are not giving effort, first guys I'm taking out. I'll even do it mid-game. There's been times I've done it. I mean, and then like you said before, when I can use those really good guys, it does make a difference. Yeah. And then some units are really big on putting their best players on special teams. With how year one was for us, we wanted to keep our guys as healthy as possible.
Yeah.
In particular, we had one guy who did not finish a single game his first year with us. Year two, we take him off special teams, and we kind of use him sparingly. I mean, he started both ways.
Right.
He finished 8 of 10 games.
Yeah.
One game was a cramp, and in one game he actually had an injury that needed him to leave the field. But he finished 8 games after finishing none his first year with us.
Yeah, I mean, that's growth. That's growth.
Yeah, we only had freak injuries this year, like a broken hand, a broken collarbone, like the freak injuries. Yeah, we didn't have any soft tissue injuries this year. No cramps, no hamstring injuries. So although the numbers didn't show, those numbers behind the scenes showed, and we'll take that. Our kids were healthier. They were available all year.
Mm, that's very, very important. And that's going to segue to our next talking point about strength and conditioning. So,
Mm-hmm.
since you guys have, a melting pot of experience and not as experienced kids, what are the key teaching points when introducing proper lift techniques to your beginner kids?
So Coach Noel, he's our leader in our strength conditioning department. I assist him very closely, more so with football. Given I have a different role during the school day,
Mm-hmm.
but we try to separate the younger kids. Like with football, like JV is lifting with JV kids, varsity is lifting with varsity kids. Luckily, we had some kids that came from reputable programs before, like Audrey Kell, who have had some good strength coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Some kids from South Mac, and Coach Evans is doing a good job over there. And other places. So we do have to build trust that the kids can move efficiently. Because at the end of the day, it's on myself and Coach Noel as both the certified strength coaches in the building, in the room, and we have to make sure that they're able to move first. I mean, the biggest thing is they got to be able to squat, hinge, jump, land. Once we get those things out of the way, then we can start progressing movements. When I was under Coach Fly, he loved 1x20 stuff. So we're going to take bare bones movements like a body weight squat, a push up, things of that nature. We're doing 20 reps, one set, and we're going to keep doing that because we're going to build our capacity and our proprioception, the body's ability to learn how to move. Because the more you do it, the body's going to get more efficient at moving and figure it out. So those are things we really focus on. At Mallard Creek here, we do similar. He'll do more of a block zero where we're kind of just doing introductory movements. We're still doing a similar amount of capacity. They'll just get more sets, less volume, like maybe 4 sets of 5, but they're still getting the same amount of reps, just differently. And we're very big on the landing, the jumping. The mobility is a big thing because a lot of these kids, they sit in desk all day, kind of like we are right now. They'll sit, and when they get home, they're sitting down. They're playing video games. They're not active all the time. So, just make sure our kids are moving well. And we're always trying to listen to their bodies, saying like, hey, coach, I'm not my right hip's bothering me. All right, well, let's try to address it, things of that nature. But we're always trying to slowly progress. Coach Noel's philosophy is long-term. He's got 4 years. He's going to give the slow cooker approach. I do have to play soldier to both the strength conditioning vision and the football vision, trying to balance and mediate both because obviously Noel wants one thing and Coach Fernandez wants something. So then I try to meet in the middle. I'm like, okay, we can do both.
There you go.
Let's do it this way. And then we get both wins. Both guys get to see what they want. So those are some things that we do. Obviously, some teams move progressively more or progressively faster. Our varsity guys will move faster. They're older. Some are more experienced in the weight room. Our JV guys, if they're freshmen, they will take a little bit longer because Coach Noel has that philosophy of, I got 4 years with you. We're going to make sure you're moving well before we jump the gun and progress you too fast.
Stacking it on. Stacking it on. So what role do you believe strength and conditioning play in injury prevention, and how do you apply that daily?
So that is actually what I tell kids all the time, in the sense of they'll have an injury, they come to me, and I tell them, I prevent injuries. I don't treat them. I think the biggest misunderstanding with kids is they think, oh, well, you're a fitness person, you're in that fitness world, you should know the same thing. Like, nope. If you're injured, if you're already injured, you go to the athletic trainer and we will work together to make sure you're healthy.
There you go.
What my role is and what Coach Noel's role is we're preventing injuries. We're going to make sure that we're doing certain things to make sure that you're twitchy, that your mechanics are right, that your tendons are able to load properly and take those forces on the field to transfer weight. So we do things like depth jumps, depth drops. We do a lot of isometric holds, what we call spring ankle iso. So we're kind of like on the ball of our foot, driving our knee imaginary, like through the wall, extending at the ankle, making sure our ankles, our Achilles tendon are very strong, very solid. We always love ACL jumps, as I call them. Some people call them speed skaters. Make sure that the knees are good. Coach Fly showed me banded knee terminal knee extension, where we got the band around the knee, little squat up and flex that quad, so that way it's making that knee joint strong. And then we're always doing shoulder rehab stuff, rotator cuff, banded pull aparts, face pulls. We're always making sure that if we're doing a pushing exercise, we're doing like 2 pulling exercises.
Pull exercise.
That way we keep those shoulders back, keep our shoulders healthy. We didn't have many shoulder injuries this year other than the broken clavicle because the kid got crushed by another kid. But nothing crazy injury this year that would have been at fault of the strength program. So we definitely did. We worked together, the 3 of us, myself, Coach Noel, and our athletic trainer, to make sure that we were making sure our kids are prepared. And that even starts with the warm-up. Our very first summer together, we were like, man, we have so many kids with hip flexor stuff, glute issues. She's like, our athletic trainer, she was like, I think we need to install hip flexor raises and glute bridges in the warm-up. We started doing that. The soft tissue stuff dropped. We did a lot better. Sometimes just those little additions only adds like 2 minutes to your warm-up, but as long as they're prepared and they're ready to go, they'll be fine to go through things.
Well, those are the victories that you have to celebrate. Especially whenever when you're part of a newer program, you got to celebrate those, and that's measurable as well. So when parents ask, because everyone's question is, can you keep my athletes safe? Can you keep my kids safe? And you guys can definitely say, hey, what we're doing is work because we're keeping everyone as healthy as possible, and you got something to show. So kudos to all you guys for working together to keep athletes safe and to stay the course there. But before I let you go, Coach, what advice would you give an assistant coach who is looking to climb the coaching ladder? That can be special teams ladder or just coaching ladder in general.
So I would look back to kind of what I've done and what I know my brother has done as well. I mean, we're trying to do as much as we can. My opinion, the job of the assistant coach is to take as much off the head coach's plate as possible.
That's it.
Now, just because you take it off his plate doesn't mean you could do a half-butt job. You got to do a good job. Like you got to make that like your Super Bowl. Everything you touch, like that's got to be your thing. And that could be doing laundry. That could be huddle setup, setting up for the games, making sure the headsets are charged. Hey, we need a way to track attendance. Coach, I got a spreadsheet for you. Here you go. And we could track it this way. Even when I was an assistant receiver coach, I was doing grades myself. Now, I wasn't asked, but I always asked Coach Tinsley, hey, Coach, you want my grades? You want my insight? And he always took it. And those things were ways I showed Coach Tinsley, for example, that I'm willing to do more. You could trust me to do more. And that's how I got the additional roles from year 2 after year 1. That was at a program that was like at 3 state championships in their first 10 years. I mean, this is a school that's all about winning, and they're giving a second-year guy a position group at the varsity level. Like, that sounds crazy. But I was doing those extra things, laundry, huddle setup, fixing our helmets, getting them organized, like all of the extra pieces. I was carrying an electric screwdriver on me because the amount of helmets that were breaking, and I'd have a kid come up to me like, oh, Coach told me to come see you. And I'd run in, get the piece, fix it, and they were back in practice, and you wouldn't even notice they were gone. I mean, those are all things I did, and I think assistant coaches need to do if they want to move up the ladder faster. It's not going to be an overnight thing, and at times you're going to feel like, man, this sucks. But sometimes the stuff that sucks is something the head coach doesn't want to deal with.
Yeah.
And if you're doing that, I mean, that's one less thing he's got to worry about. And he'll give you appreciation every now and then. I mean, I talked about it the other day. I remember my second exit interview with Tinsley. He was talking about how important I was to the program. He's like, I don't know how I'll be able to function without you. And I was like, oh man, sorry, I'm leaving actually. He tells me to this day, even my brother, he's like, I need a Davidyock on staff. I got to have a Davidyock back on staff. And that was just the way me and my brother both are. And now, he was a head coach at 26 years old. So he's just as good a person as understanding with doing extra to move up the ladder fast, being a head coach at 26 years old.
Hey, and that's how it is. And no detail is too small. And, for all the coaches that's listening, man, hey, take an opportunity, because here's the deal. Believe it or not, your head coach, he did that job before too, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know one head coach that won't do it themselves. Okay, so anything that they assign an assistant coach to do, trust me, they'll do it themselves too. So that opportunity presents itself. Make sure that you jump on that. Definitely, absolutely,
yeah, absolutely. That's a big thing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for listening to the All Season 365 podcast. I'm Coach Simmons here with Coach Davidyock. Say it again for me.
Davidyock.
Got you.
Yeah.
With Coach Davidyock.
It's a tough one.
Oh, absolutely. I got it now, though.
No, you're good.
Today's episode is sponsored by Dynasty Athletic Performance and NC Football Connections.